how did I focus just on these specific types of singers and not the session singers and the male singers and all these other things? And really, for me, what it was since we didn't know, I didn't know what this world was about, and that's what appealed to me about it, and even though I knew a lot about music. And when I started to research it, I couldn't do research because nothing had ever been done on backup singers. No books, documentaries, no articles, no websites. I couldn't believe it. And so the only thing I could do was interview a lot of backup singers. And so after I did these initial 50 oral histories that I did in the beginning, I kind of stepped back and looked at it and said, okay, what's the story I want to tell? And to me, it was that story of the revolution of these black female voices coming out of the church, finding their way into the studios in the 60s in LA and New York, and changing pop music history and the various iterations of that over different generations. I feel like it was the first word on backup singing. There are so many other things to say about backup singing, and whether it's, James Brown or England or reggae or Nashville or, there's so many different worlds of backup singing. To me, this was the one that spoke to me. But hands down, the toughest thing about making this film was cutting stuff out, because there were so many amazing people I met along the way, and I don't know if it's a sequel or a book or something, but something more needs to happen on the topic, because I met so many amazing people.
I love how the Ikettes were whores, no prostitutes. Yeah, no, because growing up, you thought, what's going on here? That was Ike Turner and the crazy Ikettes. Yes, sir.
Yeah, as you learn the story of these amazingly talented women, Mary Clayton, Gloria Love, was there a theme that came through to you of bad management, bad representation, bad luck, all of the above? Why didn't it happen, in your view, why didn't it happen?
The question is there a theme with all these women? Did they have bad luck, bad management? They just didn't make it. I mean, because they have the talent.
One takeaway is it's not about talent. Talent's down the list. It's about ambition, timing, luck, all these other things. Your look, all these things that figure into it. As I've thought about it, it's that, one theory I developed is that because they're all so naturally talented, they never had to be ambitious about their own talent. And they just all kind of fell into these careers because they were just so great. And then when it came time for them to be a solo artist, because they were so great that everybody said, oh, you got to put out a record, they didn't know how to be ambitious about their talent. They'd never flexed that muscle before. And I think that was a big challenge for all of them. And the other big challenge, I think, for all of them was that because they're professional chameleons, because they can do anything, when it came time to do a record, somebody'd say, okay, you can only do one thing because we're going to sell you as an artist, and an artist can only be one thing at the beginning. And that was really hard for them to figure out what their own voice was as a singer, even though they could do anything. What was that one thing they wanted to do to represent themselves? And I know they all grappled with that.